guys, if you remember a couple weeks back I did a video for skin prep for makeup for oily skin. Today's video all about skin prep for combination skin. Now oily skin we talked about in the last video is that person that literally has oil from their forehead to their chin right to their ears, so oily all over. Combination skin on the other hand, a little bit different, so some of the same characteristics as oily skin just through the center of the face, but the cheeks, they can be dry, flaky, dehydrated. You can also have a little bit of a breakout there. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas and tricks and tips on how to prep combination skin for makeup. And just to let you guys know, don't feel like you need to go out and buy everything that I'm talking about in this video. Just keep in mind the types of products that you're using to deal with combination skin and use whatever brands work for you, what you like, what's affordable, what you don't have to pay $1 million in shipping for. So don't go out and buy all new stuff after watching this video. It's not the point of these videos that I do. I want you to work with things that you already have. I'm just here to give you guys a couple tips and tricks, especially with skincare, because there's so many awesome skincare brands at every price range. You guys can decide what you want to use. The stuff that I'm going to be talking about today, I'll mention a couple products. I mentioned a few of these in my skin prep for oily skin video. I'm lucky enough where sometimes I get brands sending me a few things here and there, free things for my kit, free skincare. So that's usually what I use, so I don't have to pay for it. I will tell you though, the products that I do use, you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to work and they do a good job. I wouldn't be mentioning them if I didn't think they were great products. So just a little disclaimer on that. So the issue with your combination skin type or your person with combination skin, I am one of these people. Generally speaking, people with combination skin don't actually know how to take care of their own skin. We're very confused. Sometimes we're oily, sometimes we're dry, sometimes we have breakout. So you're gonna encounter a few problems with combination skin, problems that your combination skin person is actually not gonna know they have, so don't remind them of this. But there are a couple issues that pop up when you're applying makeup. So you wanna make sure that your skincare looks amazing. Just as important as color theory is in makeup artists, if you watch my last video on that, skin prep is very important because it is the make or break of your makeup application. Bad skincare, bad skin prepping before you put makeup on is very bad for your makeup. So make sure you handle your skin types accordingly. Make sure when your client sits down, you just don't slap on whatever product you have. Take a look at their skin, take a couple minutes just to analyze what's going on, and then proceed from there. So the right thing to do when you are dealing with combination skin is actually deal with the skin in zones. For me personally, I like to deal with the middle of the face as one zone, and then I look at the cheeks and sort of the outer perimeter of the face and neck as a separate zone. And if you are someone with combination skin yourself, you may want to think about switching your skincare or working your skincare in that way. It makes a huge difference. Since I started dealing with just the separate areas of my skin, I've noticed a huge difference. So zones, very important. So I'm going to start with the easy part of the face. That's the outer part of the face or the cheeks. Usually combination skin type, if you're lucky, they're going to have super normal skin on the perimeter of their face, no pores. Everything's gonna look fine. It's gonna be normally hydrated. You're not gonna have anything crazy going on. So that's the ideal situation. And because a combination skin type may be prone to oiliness, I don't like to put thick and heavy products on the outside of the face. I still like to use hydrating products. So light textured hydrating serums and creams work best. Couple suggestions for my kit that I have, the Aven. This is the light hydrating serum. I also have this Bioderma. This is the moisturizing concentrate for very dehydrated sensitive skin. If you pump these two out on your hands, they're super light textured, they're not as heavy as a cream, and they're just there to hydrate the skin, plump it up, make it look really nice, so when you put your makeup on, it goes on perfectly smooth. So these are two things that I like. Now the other product that I love actually for combination skin is the EMBRYOLISSE. Now I know I said at the beginning of this video, don't go out and buy everything that I'm recommending. You may want to buy this one. This is the only time I'm going to say that in this video. EMBRYOLISSE is such an amazing product for makeup artists. I think I will actually do a video on all of the ways that you can use this product. But just for this video, I know this seems like a heavier cream to some of you if you have used this product before. I do find that it does do a beautiful job on combination skin. Not all over, but just on the outside portion of the face. So something else you can try for that. Other problem with your combination skin type people, they go nuts with oil eliminating cleansers. They go crazy with acne prone products that absorb oil because sometimes they'll get 1 or 2 pimples in the areas where they're oily, and then they'll use one product for acne prone skin all over their face. And products like cleansers that actually are for really oily skin, they'll use that over their whole entire face. So you will be able to notice that this is happening because you're gonna have people who are very visibly combination, so they do have a little bit of oil production in the center of the face. So sometimes what I like to do before I actually start applying any hydrator, moisturizer, oil eliminator, anything like that, I like to do a quick surface exfoliation, and I find this just helps to get off the very superficial layer of skin so that whatever moisturizer, hydrator product I'm putting on over top, it goes in, and my makeup doesn't sit on top of any dry, flaky skin that's already there. So in this case, what I like to do is I'll sit the person down, take a look at their skin. If I notice we've got some flakiness and very dry, dehydrated patches around the face, I will take a baby wipe or maybe a cotton pad with a little bit of texture. I will take the Bioderma cleansing water solution. If you don't have something like that in your kit, very important to get that in there. So any kind of micellar cleansing water is a huge help. I will soak my cotton pad or baby wipe, use my finger, and just spot exfoliate some of those areas. The other tip that I will give you is that you can actually use the EMBRYOLISSE to do this as well. This removes makeup. You can take a little bit of the EMBRYOLISSE. I like to do this on a baby wipe, not cotton pad. Take some of that cream on your baby wipe and do a little spot exfoliation. Once I've done that, I'll take my micellar water and just remove any of the excess product that's on the skin. So a quick, mild exfoliation. Don't go crazy scrubbing their face off, just very lightly so you can just slough off some of the superficial layers so it doesn't prevent any of your products from absorbing, and it makes your makeup sort of stick a little bit better to the skin. So that's a quick little tip that you may want to check out. This could apply for dry skin too, but I would use a little bit of a different technique, but that's another video and I'll do that one later. So moving to the T-zone now, the center of the face, you might be lucky and you might have someone that simply is just the traditional combination skin. They need a little bit of hydration and maybe they need a tiny bit of oil control. So nothing is alarming when you look at the skin type. So sometimes what I'll do is take my light hydrating serum and I will apply this all over the face. And just for that little bit of oil control down the center of the face, once I apply that light hydrating product, I'll take something like a mattifying gel. This is the MAC Matte Gel, and I'll take a little bit and just apply the mattifying gel on the areas where I notice they're getting shiny or oily. So that's like your simplest case, easiest thing to deal with. Now you may have somebody who is excessively oily in the T-zone where you're talking to them and you can literally see the oil starting to form and build up down the center of the face. And oftentimes these people still are a little bit dehydrated just around that nose area, the chin, and on the forehead. So they need a little bit of hydration, but not too much because you don't want to make them more oily. So this is when I would apply down the T-zone something that is hydrating but is also going to have some oil control. This is the Bioderma Pore Refiner, and I talked about this in my oily skin video, I'm pretty sure. And this again just tightens up the pores, helps to control oil, and does give a tiny bit of hydration. So that's for your kind of excessively oily in the T-zone person. Another option for this type of person is just to hydrate the cheek and then take something like the mattifying gel from MAC and just put that right down the center. Sometimes that's all you need and you don't have to deal with that step of having the added hydration. So feel it out, see what works for you, experiment, especially when you have a combination skin. So that's another tip. You can try that and see if that works for you. Oftentimes just the MAC gel down the middle of the face and some sort of hydrating product on the cheek is all I'll do if it's going to be a long day. I don't want to put too much product on, but you kind of have to experiment with this stuff and with the products that you have to figure out what's going to work for you. So the next problem you might have to deal with, you're going to have that combination skin type person, humongous pores down the middle of their face, especially on their cheeks here. You prep their skin, you put the foundation on, do the beauty blender, whatever tricks you have with your foundation, and you notice you can actually still see the indentation of the pore in the cheek and in the forehead. This often happens with men with combination or really oily skin, and sometimes men just have large pores just generally. Put a little bit of foundation on, just sinks right into that pore. Kind of doesn't look the best on camera, skin doesn't look smooth, so you have to deal with this as well. So when I do have a client that has super large pores, I know you guys know I'm not a huge fan of primer, but in this case I do like to use something that is pore refining and kind of fills in those pores. The Benefit POREFESSIONAL is one of my favorite products to use for this, and now I only apply this product in the areas where there are larger pores. So if you have any product that's made to fill in pores, you can't overwork it into the skin. So if I was going to be using something like the POREFESSIONAL on my client, I would use their skincare first. I would take something like the POREFESSIONAL and just tap it into the areas where I see visibly large pores. I'm not going to be smoothing this all over the face. It doesn't work for me. I don't like it in terms of how my foundation goes on afterwards. So just tapping that lightly into the face. If you do overwork this product, it's going to start balling up it's gonna start kind of peeling off, and that's not what you want, and that's gonna create a whole other set of issues. And even though this MAC gel does fill in the pores a little bit and give you that nice smooth surface to put your makeup on top of, using these two together, it's a little bit much, and I don't like to layer primers or layer specialized treatments like these two products, so try to stay away from that. This POREFESSIONAL, it does fill in the pores and it does have a bit of oil control, so sometimes skincare first, tackle your zones, and then a little bit of a primer over top. Guys, I'm sorry if this video was a bit noisy. There's some crazy stuff happening outside my apartment. I'm hearing ladders and a bunch of people, so I don't know what's going on out there. Hopefully it wasn't too noisy and you guys were hearing what I was saying about that last part. But the takeaway here when you're dealing with combination skin is to deal with the skin in sections. It'll make your life easier. Sometimes one product is not going to work for the entire face, and this is something you should also remember when you are applying makeup. Somebody that has a combination skin that's shiny in the T-zone doesn't need an oil absorbing product or foundation over the entire face. It can look very drying and cakey on camera, and you're putting oil absorbing product where there's no oil to be absorbed. So keep all of your oil absorbing powders sort of down the center of the face, and you may find with combination skin types, once their makeup is on and set, you actually don't need to touch the outside of the skin too much, and you just need to kind of mattify only the T-zone and just around the nose or maybe in that area by the brow. For me, when I'm working, my pet peeve is that shine right around the nose. That drives me crazy when I see that in photos, so keep an eye out for that if you're doing work on camera. That shine around the nose, it drives me crazy. I'm like obsessed with it when I'm on set. And just as I mentioned, not putting products for oily skin all over the face when you're just dealing with oily skin in the center of the face, it's the same thing when you're using foundations for really dry skin, so really rich foundations. They're not going to work down the T-zone of a person that has combination skin type. It's going to be very oily down the center of the face. So if you have a couple different types of foundation that you're working with, you may want to use something for drier skin on the outside if their skin's quite dry, and something that's a little bit lighter texture down the middle of the face. One more thing to mention before I wrap up this video: skincare and skin prep for makeup, super important, make or break. Just as color theory is going to take your makeup artistry to the next level, and understanding that is going to make things easier for you, skin prep is the exact same way. Learning how to prep skin properly is make or break for good makeup, so remember that. That is it for my skin prep tips for combination skin. Hoping this was helpful to you guys who requested this video. Just as a side note, if there's anybody out there that's getting into makeup artistry that you know, anybody in your class, friends, whoever, make sure you give them the heads up on this channel. There's a lot of people getting back to me saying there's not really any other place online on YouTube where they can find useful information for makeup artists and get their questions answered. So spread the word, and of course you guys know where to put your questions and video requests right down there in the comments box below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, thumbs up if you like the video, and of course, you know, you can come and say hi to me on social media. All of my links for social media are down there somewhere. Kind of done with Snapchat, so Instagram mostly. But thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!